It took me 2 years to release my album after it was already finished. Like everything recorded, done. Why did that happen? Um, to tell you that, I have to tell you kind of where I was at in my life when I was writing it, when I was recording it, when we were working on the music. Um, the album is called Reckoner, right? What does Reckoner mean? Reckoner, like, is someone who reckons with, right? So it's somebody who faces a difficult situation head on, right? And they say, I'm going to make heads or tails of this. And I'm going to confront this and see what I've made of. I wrote that song when I was living in Bloomington, when I was in college. And it was just about before when I was going to finish college and move to the big city, Chicago, right? And the feeling that I had was, okay, I've been learning this all my life. I've been studying obsessively my entire life, right? Am I really enough for this? Do I have what it takes? You know, am I cut out for this? What's going to happen when I go to the big city? Um, can I do this, right? Can I become a professional musician? Can I make art that I'm proud of? Can I play with people who are better than me? It was all about proving myself, you know? Because if I could do that, well, then that means I was good enough, right? And so, these songs were written during that journey. Keep Moving Forward was when I was in my little sublet apartment for the summer and everything was shut down because there was COVID. But I was determined that as soon as everything opened up, I would be playing gigs. um, you know, Challenger was about working with other musicians we were all trying to get better together and pushing each other, learning from each other. And something that's really interesting about like writing music is a lot of it is just intuition, right? You're not necessarily sitting down, at least I'm not, and saying, this song is about this. Most of the time it just flows out, right? I'm just following it, I'm just trusting it. It's writing itself. It's coming from my intuition, my subconscious, right? And so when I was writing these songs, I wasn't trying to write something about proving myself. It's just that's the stage of life that I was in. And only now looking back can I see um, that's what was going on. And that's what came out of my intuition because that's what was going on in my head. And so this desire to prove myself, to say, I didn't always have drum lessons as a kid because we couldn't always afford them. I didn't get into the best schools, but I bet you I can do this anyway. If I just practice hard enough, if I just take the risk, if I move to the school, if I move to the big city, even when COVID's happening, right? It's going to be hard, but I can do this. That was all the power in the world for a time period of my life. It was so motivating. It pushed me so far because I wanted so badly to prove that I could do it, that I was good enough to play music full time, that, you know, even, starting from where I started, that I could make it all the way, that I could go to the jam session, that I could book the gig, that I could play with the great players. It pushed me to move across the country for the best colleges, to go to Chicago even when the city was shut down due to a pandemic. It pushed me to stay. It pushed me to go to the jam sessions. It pushed me to book the gigs. It pushed me to write the music. It pushed me to record the album. And this was my source of power for so long, my motivation. I think like a lot of people, it's a common narrative, like the hero goes to the city to see what he's made of. And then something happened right around the time when I recorded the album. You see, I was playing music full time, playing and teaching music full time. And I was playing really cool gigs that I loved, really creative music. I was playing with really good people. I had played at a bunch of the top venues, and I had recorded the album. And my motivation recording the album, it was like this, this ladder I was climbing. Play at this venue, play at a better venue. Now we have a repertoire. Let's record an album. We're going to use the album to book more gigs at even better venues. Then I'll prove myself, right? And when I finished the album, something happened where that motivation didn't really cut it anymore. Because something shifted when I did start to play full time and I had achieved a lot of these things that I always wanted to do. I had done it. So there was nothing left to prove. And honestly, that motivation stopped meaning much to me. Like, who do I have to prove to? Like, what are we doing here? Is this just a hedonistic adaptation thing that I'm just going to keep having to prove more and more and more, right? And unfortunately, but actually probably fortunately, that motivation kind of stopped working. And that's why when I finished the album, I didn't keep pushing through to release it. I started playing just the fun gigs that I really wanted to play. And I kind of went down a path of the next kind of 2 years until now of trying to figure out what the drive was going to be that replaced that. I still tried to grasp to the proving thing over and over again, but it just had diminishing returns. It lasted less and less long until I realized that it just wasn't going to get me further than it had. So I needed to find a new source of energy, a new motivation to keep growing, to keep doing this thing. And I had to ask myself, like, why I was doing this all along. Was it all just to prove myself? If so, I don't love that. That's a lot of negative motivation. It's anger, it's revenge almost. But the thing is that there was something else there all along that was underneath, that was even stronger. I realized that every goal that I ever had, can I get into music school? Can I make it in Chicago? Can I, make a living doing this? Every goal was just for the purpose of to keep doing it. The point was never like the goal. Once I achieve this goal, then we're done. No, the goal was to keep climbing, to keep doing it because it feels so good to do. And it just reminded me of when I was a kid, when I was probably like 12 or 13, 11 maybe. my brother gave me a copy of Sibelius, this like music notation software. And you can kind of click notes into the music staff on a trumpet or a trombone or a guitar or whatever, and hit space and it'll play it back for you. And I spent hours on that thing. In my kitchen, I just like dominated the computer because I was writing music. And the thing is, at that time, I didn't even know how to read music. I was just clicking the buttons. I didn't know how to use the software even. It was just guess and check. I was just like clicking the dots and moving around, and then I'd hit play and I'd be like, that doesn't sound good. But then I would be like, move it around a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. What if there was a trombone? Right? And like, there was no proving. I didn't care if I was good enough. I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, I don't know how to use this, I don't know how to read this. No, it just felt so good to do. It was fun to make things. I even remember when I got my first guitar, I got it out of the box and I didn't know how to use it at all. But I wrote a song on it. And the song was just like me playing the highest string and then the lowest string. And I made up some lyrics to it that just kind of came out of me naturally, right? And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, And the thing is, that was there all along. The feeling of getting better, the feeling of doing it was so fun in and of itself that it carried me through. I think that is what pushed me through all the proving. And the thing is, a lot of musicians have this, where there's this resistance. I can't go to a jam session because I don't know the tunes that they play and I'm not good enough and I'm going to embarrass myself. I can't post my original song because then people will see my original song and they'll see that I'm not a good songwriter, right? I can't release my album because, it won't be good enough and won't get a good review, whatever it is. I can't do it because I'm not good enough. That's what all of those are. And that is a darkness that people fight for their whole lives, myself included. It's a big, heavy burden on your back. When you're making something, when you're writing music that comes from your heart and you're thinking, is this good enough? Is this good enough? Am I doing this right? It's hard to make anything like that. And some people's whole journey is just that, just getting good enough, treating it like a video game or something, proving, myself included. But what I realized is that throughout all of that journey of having to prove myself and writing these songs about proving myself and moving to the city and all of these things, there was something there underneath all of that was even more strong. Just how good it feels to do it. I love this. I always have, no matter how good I was at doing it. I always liked figuring it out or making something or getting better or taking a risk. Yeah, I've always loved that. And that's been like an angel holding my hand the whole time, even while I had this burden of having to prove myself. It was always there. You love this. You can just enjoy it for doing it. Now these songs. Here's what happened. I wrote all these songs about proving myself, and I was halfway through realizing that I don't need to do that anymore. And then I'm like, why do I even need to release these songs? I'm not trying to book a bigger gig. I don't care about that anymore. These songs are just not where I'm at anymore. I'm not trying to prove myself anymore. I'm something else. And so I'm like, why even release them? That's why they got vaulted for 2 years. Now, here's the thing though. Remember I said earlier, these songs just kind of came out of me, you know? I wasn't trying to write a song about proving. I was just following my intuition. I was just following that process of like, this feels good to do. Oh, it feels good to write that chord. It feels good to write that chord. And so what came out was about proving, right? Reckoner. Because that's what my brain was at the time. That's where my psyche was. So of course my intuition is going to go there, right? And I'm a little bummed about that. It doesn't have to be proven. But what's beautiful about these songs is that I wrote them from my intuition. Even though they came from a place of trying to be good enough, at the core, what made them is love. I love doing this. It's fun to do. They came out of my intuition, which was just me enjoying the process of making them. Most of these songs, I didn't have to try very hard to write them. I just kind of sat down and they came out, and I liked what came out. And I love that because it's flying in the face of having to prove anything. It's saying, okay, there's this big world that wants me to prove everything. I'm going to fight that with love. If there's always going to be more to be proved, I might as well have some fun while I'm proving it, I guess, and just kind of see through the illusion. I'm really proud of these songs. One of the last songs on the album, I think it's the last one that I wrote, like the latest chronologically, is called Seeker. Seeker is different from a reckoner. A reckoner goes up towards something and confronts it to see what they're made of. A seeker who's one that looks. And it's interesting when you seek for long enough, you realize that finding things was never the goal. It's just fun to keep looking. And I think that's the phase that I'm at now, where I'm just looking. I'm seeking. And it's so fun to keep looking. It's so fun to keep exploring. I love doing this. And I'm not going to let having to prove anything stop me from doing it. I'm just going to let the fact that it's so fun to do it be enough to solve all the problems that I need to solve. So I'm letting Reckoner go. I'm really proud of these songs. I'm proud of what it took to make it, the journey, the people who helped me, and I can't wait for you to hear it. And I also can't wait to make something else. So, yeah, that's the next stage. Just keep enjoying the process. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the people who helped me with this. There's so many people in Chicago who were part of this whole journey for me, but specifically the people who helped me make Reckoner, the album. The musicians who played on it, Andrew Sudabalsip, Wes Diedzik, and Evan Levine on guitar, piano, and bass, respectively. Katie Ernst, who helped me produce it. She helped me kind of like work on the vision for it, and then also during the day of recording, really helped us get the vibe so that we could just let ourselves shine. Josh Arizmendi, the engineer who recorded it, he captured it. at Sound Mind Studios, and he did a really beautiful job of doing that. Connor Gilmore, who did the mastering, and just crushed it first try. Like, it sounds beautiful. And Connor Woodard, who helped me take the cover photo and did some of the editing for that. I couldn't have made this without you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so proud of what we made. And I can't wait for everybody to hear this. So that's it. I uploaded it this week. It takes some time to process. Whenever you're watching this, it's probably already done, so you can find the link somewhere below this. I just can't wait for you to hear it. Thanks for listening.